Hello, Free Enterprise fans. Welcome. It's Friday once again, and we are here with our Friday night community race as we have Jabron taking on Shiru in the Edge versus the World Flag set. Um, an old throwback to our club. We're using our brand new alpha release of the 5.0 flag set to test it out and take advantage of some of the new features it adds. I am Rowdy Sniper with Deathlike. We've got Beauty and Discovery running the restream, and Falgren doing the tracking for us. And Deathlike, Falgren's gonna be pretty busy today with this flag set.
I mean, you've got. I mean, the stage is kind of laid out. I mean, it's game in, so your concentration of key items are on the surface and underground. So no need to visit the moon. Moon is haunted completely. But since all the concentrations all on the Earth, the other part is you don't have to do any of the. You don't have to worry about king queen of Feymarch. So that's an additional thing that you don't have to worry. The only thing you really have to worry is figuring out who you want to add to the party. And I think from the flag set, you really want to maybe loot a little first and see what pieces of equipment, and then you put together your party from that. At least from the equipment side of things.
Yeah, these runners will be dealing with a max party size of 3, which is relatively low, but this is a K-win flag set, so they don't have to worry about the Zeromus fight. So yeah, like you said, Deathlike, it's going to be very much very interesting to see how they build their parties. I would agree that good chance we'll see them kind of base that off of what they find, and these runners are getting underway. They've got to find 15 key items, one of them being the Luca key, so they can go and clear the sealed cave to get their 2 objectives to win the game. So we will get a lot of checks, and there is a magma key to go underground right off the bat for our edge. And Deathlike, we don't have our starting character. What's going on with this flag set?
So this is a new flag. I should remember the flag name, but it's a specific flag for the characters where instead of finding your characters all over the map, maybe behind a boss or two, or behind something, or maybe not, it's free, but no, you just have to go to Mysidia and the Tower of Wishes and essentially build your team. But so you can have dupes, I believe, but probably not recommended. And this particular flag set, we have eliminated both Lunarians, Cecil and Fu, so they're not part of it. So the question you have to ask yourself is, who do you want on your team? Shiru just probably went to a place didn't need to go to, because characters are not on Mount Hobbs, and wouldn't gain a key item since it's just not a place to go, not a place to be.
Yeah, a little bit of old habits here. This is a brand new flag, so the wishes flag, bit of a curveball if you're not used to it. Totally understand that. Jbrun, meanwhile, doing some looting as Shiru, just doing what you got to do when you make a mistake, and just get back in the ground and going to go start clearing objectives, or start looking for key items, I should say.
Kind of think it's worth talking about the characters you can pick up, other than the ones that can't be picked up. So you can see the Gambit. There's also a second room built just for this, and I didn't see what Jbrun to pick, but so you're obligated to pick probably a mage, probably a white mage. It doesn't have to be that. See summoner and Kane. So that's so yeah, you pick one Zerker, or one mage, or 2 mages, 1 black, 1 white. The black mage can be a summoner, either way. So and it's a kind of it's interesting discussion. I go by the equipment because it makes your life easier. So if you pick up a white spear defense sword, maybe you want a Kane. If you get a cat claw, at least one cat claw, then you may want to think of Yang. And for your mage, you probably want to at least prioritize a white mage. But in the absence of not taking a Zerker, the black mage is prime. You probably want to take someone either Quake Kid, or if you find a summon, probably in the form of Leviathan, at least with the early loot, probably a good idea.
You're looking for looking at that area of effect damage that Riddier or Palom can provide, because Flame's very good for this the overworld blue planet, but tapers off very quickly.
If you were doing it, what would you do? I guess is a because I
Well,
mean we're
when I was practicing, I was going with Edge and usually either I was fortunate enough to find Leviathan in my playthroughs, so it's like, all right, we're going with Rydia, and then Porum is a white mage. That way, I had guaranteed exit relatively quickly, since the runners do start off with sirens, so you can get the two mages up to a reasonable amount with those world, and then yeah, Tella would make a lot of sense in this flag set because he's got blank and he's got exit, as you know as Shiru here, showing that Edge doesn't really need help at the starting point, and just taking on these early checks. You're already getting the package out of Antlion Cave, and now taking on the Fabul defense and dealing with some family matters.
I'm inclined. Definitely pick up the characters. You can do solo the overworld with Edge for the most part, but I think you need your other characters to pick up some experience, just for the sake of just getting them up to wherever they need to be. So you see Bahamut, a fortunate Bahamut pickup. So that makes I think J Printer did take Rydia, so there's a free easy. It's like, hey, that's a easy go for. There are other characters on that are available, like that haven't been listed. Most probably in the form of Scintilla. In this type of flag set, Tella. I think there's some value in Tella, but I feel like his value diminishes. And you have to, well, you're probably going to make a trip to Mount Ordeals. It is required to get him online, but I think it's just you kind of want longevity, and you don't. And there are just some instances where you don't want Tella to kind of take the brunt of the hits, where he just becomes he become a two-man party that easily. I'm in this type of flag set. I'm more I would just say you're almost safe to just put Rosa and then pick your other character, whether it's Palom, Rydia, Yang. I would actually like because you don't have to worry about weapons. Whereas Kane, if the drops don't work out, it's just worst case scenario, you can always dart all Kane's spears, for the most part. So you don't have to have a Kane unless you need the unless you want some sort of stability from weaponry.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. We're already seeing the difference between Jabra and Shira here in their approaches, and there's a lot of flexibility in this flag set for how you want to support this starting Edge. Edge is the hero in this flag set, so he will always be in your party. However, because the objective is here, it is a spot. Normally, hero flag sets have the anchor calculated off of your hero character, meaning that it's very difficult to slow down an extremely difficult fast fight like Wyvern down there. So this flag set actually has the vanilla agility flag turned on, which means that if Cecil's in the party, it's calculated off of him, and if he's not there, it's off of your center slot. So it's a way that the flag set gets around the requirements of C Hero to allow for frankly, a much more playable experience. So that does lead to some value. If you want Tella, you want Sid as an anchor, there is a case for them.
I would normally want an anchor, but only if you're like a 4 character. Vanilla agility is helpful because Edge does cause problems on the agility front. Just he's the fastest, generally speaking. So this is so everyone's gonna be slower, and and will be less effective. Given that, I think a way of really looking at your anchor situation is just think of who's typically the slowest. And yeah, we think Tella and Sid are usually top of the list, but you kind of want more productivity from them. So Sid being in that spot doesn't provide. I mean, he's strong, but he's not going to get that many actions in because he isn't going to get that many hits. Like Edge is going basically we're taking turns from him just because he's just blazing fast. So something like a black mage or even Rosa, just as long as they don't get agility of boosting equipment, are your ideal anchors. So Palom, Rydia, Rosa, Porum. If they have to be your anchor, it's not the worst thing. It's usually pretty manageable. It's not the usual thing. A lot of flag sets kind of make you think about that situation.
While we've been discussing the characters, these runners have been plugging away at these K main objectives and getting a plethora of key items. J-Brun going down to the Fey March and getting the Rat Tail out of the Fey March freebie, as well as some very nice loot in that in the chest there. I saw a power shirt, ninja sword, and also a Marasme sword from the waterfall. Mean that Edge is hitting very hard right now. Meanwhile, Shiro has done the Vabul defense and gotten the pan out of that, and also the pink tail from the 3 key item in Bedward, and just grabbed the Earth Crystal out of the Baron Inn. So opening up some of those gating key items there, which pan, very 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 nice. It's an extra check. She's gonna be able to get 2 key items right up front right there. So really going to be interesting to see which of these items, these checks, these runners do, because I think that's going to be another big factor here is what are these runners going to avoid doing? You have to get 15 key items. There's no pass, so that won't be the 18th key item. There's 2 checks. There's 2 checks they don't have to do.
They'll probably end up doing everything though, so one way or the other. That's kind of so you're kind of in 17-17 mode for the most part. You might be given the option, but for the most part, you're not really. You're just gonna do everything that is possible. Maybe skip ordeals, but I feel like skipping ordeals is kind of not the way to go. I mean, you kind of want your characters just to get experience, and ordeals is a solid place to get at least the 2 fights on the bridge at the summit. It's probably what you want. Interesting decisions here. Picking a Porum and a Rydia. Jupiter with the Rydia and the I think Rosa. I'm just almost blanking out. But that's so. I think other than the White Mage, it's kind of a. It's both. It's the same. It's mostly the same party. I think it's mostly efficient. So we just have to do a few more things here and there. Oh no, it's a Kane. Sorry, it's a Kane. So the difference is more offense on J Prunter with the Rydia in tow versus Shiro with the safety net of a White Mage and Porum.
Yeah, and I think the other benefit of that White Mage is as soon as Shiro gets a little bit of levels on that Porum, she's going to have eggs at her disposal, whereas J-Brun will probably need to do some shopping for the exit items, or just rely on Warp from Rydia, which is effective, but a little bit slower.
I think what first thing about fighting the monsters, you do kind of actually want some levels on your mages so they can at least tank a hit, and yeah, that's what then happens is that the monsters just gang up on Edge as a result, and even Edge with his default equipment still not really. They can't really soak all that damage. Probably wants to just do a few do a few bosses. Maybe just do Mount Ordeals is probably a safe bet, I think, at this point. So maybe try to get that, try to get Rydia and Porm a little bit online, and maybe, or at least loot some more, help out a little bit. Like even like yeah, doing a small egg grind is probably good enough to get but either online. At least you get Zerk on Porm much earlier. Rydia probably needs a second egg, I think, to get Virus, which is compared to Paolo, Quake Kid, which were probably really close. Probably still, it's a bit harder to get Rydia online without a summon, and I don't think Shiro has picked up a summon orb.
No, not yet. She hasn't done the looting that Jabrun's done so far, and I think that's gonna start to really become. That's gonna start making a big difference because Jabrun finding some very powerful edge weapons, and like you pointed out, those summons for Rydia. So, you know, definitely has the power advantage right now to make his way through these checks. Shiro, unfortunately, kind of trying to figure out that step to get that power through levels and those yellow dragons and that egg, they hurt when you let them hatch.
It's what you a lot of shopping usually occurs. Like coffins are available in this flag set, so that would probably make life easier. I don't think hourglasses are, but even then, a coffin probably is the solution. For if you're trying to do sirens, you probably want to do some of that. Or if you think that's too difficult, maybe Liliths on the summit. Two Liliths provide, while not the same degree of experience, but is relatively safe. Although with a Rydia in tow, probably would get immediately punched pretty easily. So J-Brunter with the Bahamut, it's child's play, as they say.
Yeah, I do think that Jabrun did find hourglasses for sale in the Faymart shop, if I remember correctly. So those tier 5 items are available for these runners to find, like you said, with those coffins as well being another option. So they're, you know, but again, Shiro hasn't has been more focused on clearing objectives and fighting and getting that strength through experience. Jabrun having a little bit more money to spend and getting the tower key from the Mount Ordeals check. And we'll just have to go through Yang here, the karate fight here. Tower key, I like that a lot in this flag set because that adds to some routing efficiency when there really isn't a lot. You can hammer out those 2 checks at lower Babel, whereas normally you're just kind of going darting across the map, trying to take care of as much as you can.
Tower is pretty safe on like the looting front as well. I mean, it's gated underground. Plus, you get 2 key item checks. Doing the super cannon room and defeating Dr. Luge spot. So I mean, look, those are easy value checks. Plus, you can loot out some of the chests to hope maybe get some Hanzo Steel for Edge, and you're probably mostly online. You almost don't. I mean, unless outside of buying or acquiring things for your mages, as long as Edge has weapons, you're probably set. So doing enough looting. I don't know what J-Printer's weapon situation on Edge is, but that would motivate.
Murasame and Ninja Sword. So very nice.
That's marvelous. That's mostly it. I mean, Forge will also help too.
Ooh. That's interesting for Shiro. That's a curse string. So if we do run into something nasty at that sealed cave spot or at that top of tower, we can slow anchor and make that a little bit more manageable. So that's be curious to see if Jabrun can grab a curse string as well for that.
I mean, it's the same place. It's just that it's just a matter of deciding to loot. And also, I mean, curse strings are made expensive because of their value, not because -15 to all stats is impressive. It's just designed for your anchor, and I think that's a free imp Or that's yeah, that's unfortunate. That's an unfortunate random summon that was learned.
Yeah, it's all, everybody sneers at the imp summon until you have to take on a very nasty wyvern, and all you have is Starveils and Rydia casting imp to reflect it.
Well, you mean to ignore
There is value to the imp.
I'd rather have the Chocobo because Imp, unlike all the other summons, do not have a perfect accuracy. So, like, perfect spell accuracy. Like, you just, like, basic damaging spells have 100% spell accuracy. The Imp does not. That is, and so if you have an Imp, so you have a Rydia with the Imp summon, with a Heron Robe, prepare to waste your 1 MP. It might not work. Well, at level 1.
Yeah, no, that is a very niche. That is a very and But what is it? What is a time? What is a time and tried and true strat? If you need power and you have an Earth Crystal, go to the gated treasury and get some very good gear on a T Wildish flag set like this. So this will help Shiru out immensely. Hopefully, catch up a little bit as far as the power side, the power that Jabron has. And question in chat is, what is the objective of the flag set? Win game or Crystal's Aromas? This is a win game flag set, so they just have to get the 15 key items and complete the sealed cave to win the game.
I mean, Crystal will be a key item you pick up, but since you're not fighting Z, it doesn't matter. Well, just with the count, it does matter. So as long as you pick it up, you're good, but don't expect to use it in anything meaningful. I think the treasury, I would rate that treasury maybe 7 out of 10 because it kind of gave some power. I think it was a Massa for Edge and quite a bit of mage equipment. I don't remember exact, but ribbons are always great. So that should cure most of the problems for Shiro's Edge. Not having just having starter weaponry. It does starter weaponry. You just want to replace it. Like the two short katanas are okay, but they even random middle katana beats it. So there's a lot of things that beat short katanas, unfortunately.
Yeah, they're very good for those first opening checks in the game. They're more than enough power to get you pretty much through Baron Castle by themselves, but they do level up pretty quickly. Do want to point out on Jabron's side as he fights this Mom Bomb here at the Magus Sisters spot. You may have seen that the text for the damage was in yellow. That is because one of the quality of life features that has been added to the new version of the 5.0 alpha randomizer is that given that normally crits are designated by a flash in the screen, but nobody really likes flashing effects on a screen. So they've added in the color coding to help designate when a crit has occurred, so you can better tell when that damage is, which is a change that I really like.
It's a nice quality of life feature. My only complaint, but it's just a complaint. It's a vanilla complaint. Is that critical hits? They don't feel like that much of an increase, even though they're like a flat increase to the attack power. The only time you see it mean anything is if you do crits with DKC on a zombie, and that's the only time where that damage is like it's not 1. Yay! Other times, you're like, wait, this critical hit that looks just like every the random damage he normally does, like, because there is variance in the damage, and it's wider the stronger the character gets, but it's just like, yay, you did a critical hit. Boo, it didn't do that much more than you normally would.
Shiro following Jabron up the Tower of Zat, checking out the Flame Dog chest, looking to get some of the gated loot there, and unfortunately only getting a Dragoon armor, which sells for a lot. And Jabron finding a very rude fight here at the Valvalis spot with this Ogo.
I mean, Kane could probably survive, but the longer Kane's up, that big wave is coming, and he's probably going to die. Probably should just reset out of that. It's not. It's kind of not like not ready. It's one of those not when you're not ready for Ogo, bad things happen, and yeah, it's like it's one of those like if you're caught off guard, Ogo is devastating quite on its own. So it's one of those I think probably wants to reset, maybe re-anchor the situation, just put Rydia in the middle, slow the fight down a bit. I mean, Valspot is actually kind of fast, so Kane doesn't actually help here.
Do you think that Kane has a Dwarf Axe to try and help mitigate that? But I don't know if that's going to be. I don't know if that's going to be enough compared. That Rydia is going to be going fast enough to really work with that.
I think
So
you
yeah,
just want
no.
you want a stronger Kane. That's like you want Kane with a real weapon. Like Dwarf Axe, if he was like the third character, not the second Zerker here. That's kind of the problem.
Yeah, no. This Jabron fighting for survival here right now, just trying to get those Cure 2s to get the party upright and able to finally get some damage. And there we go. Finally getting a little bit of traction with Edge being able to swing and doing some good damage there with those ninja swords that he's found. So oh, but that is not kind there, getting sniped for 3 damage over Kane's HP.
Yeah, the kind of issues when you're behind the 8 ball, sometimes you might have reset. It sounds like you're trying to like giving up a potential bat, but now with the penalty of not saving after, like if you're confident enough in your skills, you kind of think I don't probably the next boss isn't gonna be a problem, but that's why you save. You never know what that boss is, can like, especially given the current situation, given the current levels, having a decent, having been dealt quite a bit of damage from Mom Bomb fight, you sometimes like Ogo surprises known to cause a reset, even like a plague at certain spots, or certain bosses just make you want to reset immediately because like not ready for it, just try again.
Yeah, no, I fully appreciate Jabron's confidence with Edge with 2 very strong swords and a power shirt to just kind of carve up most anything. But yeah, like you said, Ogopogo leading off of those 2 big waves, and just especially without having had the opportunity to fully heal back up, that's tough to come back from. Looked like might have had a little bit of traction in that fight, but unfortunately had to reset, but is making his way back through the Mom Bomb fight again, and yeah, taking that safety save.
So it looks reordering it. Let's see who. Oh, we really want Edge to anchor? Is that no? No, put Rydia in the back. No, still want Kane to anchor. We'll probably want to heal up a bit before that. Given and at least use a. Probably want to use actually a Cure 2 potion or a Cure spell. That would, yeah, there we go. But or a tent, doesn't matter, whatever to do, top it off, because the damage is coming. Shiru will probably find out if will probably be punished if not doing a safety save. So we'll see.
Yeah, hopefully she does, because that's not gonna be a fun. That's not gonna be a fun surprise for waiting for her as well, because Jabron does have a little bit of better equipment overall. Shiru does have a glass hat that I don't believe Jabron has, so be able to take those physical attacks, but those big waves are fast and they are furious.
Shiru, looks like you probably should just use a tent. Could have used a tent. That would probably have solved. I guess we can. Well, I guess we don't have a Z fight, so I guess Elixir is overkill, but well, at least you don't have to do the animation, so whatever. I mean, look, every person has done it. Hoard all the elixirs for a Z fight that is not to come. So better now than never.
No, agree there. Agree there. It saves the animation time of the tent. I don't think she's found any really strong summons for Rydia, so um, not going to be so worried about her uh, chiming in with those. So makes sense just to use that elixir, get Porum ready to go to heal up, and gonna be happy to have that white mage. I think that's gonna make life a little bit. That's gonna make it get recovering from those waves a little bit easier than Jaybrun had. But Jaybrun is through on the second attempt, being fully prepared this time, and we'll find out here what the reward for completing the Tower of Zod is.
It probably was worth mention. I mean, the Bedward did have the key item, which is good. Probably would be a good thing in terms of the looting is to do as a legend sword, do the loot like come here early, get the key item because sometimes you need the second key item, the Bedward key item to make a decision like. I don't think we've spoken of the Bard yet in the seed, but Edward is an option. So if Spoon doesn't immediately come up, you have a second opportunity. But I guess, but in that case, that is the only time where Edward would only be a consideration for your Zerker, probably your second Zerker. Not sure if you really want him as a third Zerker, but you never know. You can only make your seed as difficult as you want it to be.
Yeah, no. Like I said, I like both these runners at least having one mage to help with the AoE because, as you saw on Jaybrun's side, that Mom Bomb fight was a lot easier having that Bahamut to help clear that out. Um, so Jaybrun now doing the pan bog. Gonna go get those get those items from I think it was the adamant rock and the spoon of his a spoon of his own from the Sheila checks as Shiro will collect her legend sword.
You definitely want at the summon spot. The Sylph would not is not going to give a key item as it's part of the K summon flag. So that's something. Just a small reminder. Would not white robe is valuable, but no key item from the Pan Bonk, the Pan return, and the Pan, and just talking with speaking with Yang, regardless of whether you bonked him, is another key item check.
So, looking at our key items here, we are looking for 15 key items. It looks like we've got 8 on Shiro's side and 8 on Jaybrun's side. So we are starting to get close to that 10 key item where we get the bonus experience and double of our experience. And as you may have noticed, looking at the screens, you'll see a multiplier now on the experience page, so you can now see any multipliers that are being affected through various flags, and they have a better understanding of just what those bonuses are doing for your experience. And you're getting the Mitsuno for the Pan Blanc, which is a very nice item there.
So, I think I mentioned a little bit earlier. I prefer Rydia to be the anchor. I know, in Jay Parker's case, Kane is the anchor. I feel like even if you make Rydia or Palom, the Black Mage of your party be the anchor, you're off. Your damage is going to come from them anyways. There's no practical difference of making Kane less effective in order to make Rydia negligibly better. I guess it's a way of kind of looking at the kind of your anchoring slot and your power situation. Like you kind of want all your third character to be your anchor to be contributing, so that tends to limit your anchoring options sometimes. So and it's just one of those things where some like I'm not a fan of the Sid or Tella option because you can gain more from a different character up to a point, anyways. Because there are characters that will limit your kind of your racing potential, really.
Yeah, it really just depends on how much you just want to put your faith in one character. I mean, we're seeing Jabrun relying really more on the Rydia with the Bahamut as opposed to Shiru right now being the edge. The edge is doing the lion's share, and the flag set celebrating him and his abilities. So yeah, no, it just it depends. It depends on how much you really want to lean into just one source of damage, or if you want to have multiple ones to help mitigate certain situations or chime in.
It's the other problem. I think the not looting part for in the Shiro is kind of making like Rydia like more of a like a kind of like the not just kind of not involved. Rydia like for the purposes of the randomizer is not as effective. I don't think I saw Jura and Titan, but that's not Leviathan or Bahamut, so that's kind of that doesn't help. So not help. I mean, Jura being emergency healer, but Titan is you want to be past Titan because even Quake Kid at level 23 is better than Titan, unfortunately. So it's one of those things you kind of want to, when you build your team, you kind of have to think long term. Like, is this good enough to seed? Sure. Do you need nuke? That depends. Well, the seed probably doesn't really need you to get to nuke, but if a seed had different requirements, nuke, you getting Rydia to level 50 for nuke versus Quake Kid, which is probably even having a higher level will get to nuke faster. That's gotta sort of plan a little bit, or at least hope the loot in your seed kind of favor a certain thing, which is why I favor the looting.
Well, yeah, and I agree with that, especially with Rydia, because that is her strength over Palom. Palom learns Quake relatively early. That's why he's known as the Quack Kid around the community. He gets Virus earlier with less experience, so naturally learns very powerful spells much faster than Rydia. But Rydia, you find that Bahamut orb, you find that Leviathan, even a good Sylph summon in the right situation, and she's immediately very, very beneficial, which on a very fast flag set like this, I mean, these runners have been sprinting from the word go, and I think we're definitely seeing that Jabrun not really having to worry about anything because he's got 5,000 damage from Rydia every turn. That's very reliable, very strong enough to make short work of most anything on this overworld. So yeah, no, I agree. I think that the looting definitely helping Jabrun, and I think definitely fitting the character situation a little bit more naturally. Do you want to point out we did see D Lunara in the Super Cannon room. We haven't gotten the key item for that yet. Jabrun here going to be taking out the Calbrena dolls with that Bahamut here in a second and get the key item up there. We do have the Be Chaos flag on, which means that if you saw a boss, doesn't mean they're out of the pool like it used to automatically mean. You can get as many of a certain boss as the seed sees fit.
Yeah, so oops, all alt gauntlets. Well, maybe not literally all. I mean, maybe someday. But oops, all Val would be, make a Kane have much more staying power. Oops, all a certain boss might push you a little bit. Like if you had more wyverns show up, that means you're just gonna have to just spend a lot more of your money on Starveil set sometimes. So it's just the flag. It's just the flag's existence doesn't really affect my opinion on what happens, but it might solidify certain characters or just certain things you want to do in a seed. So yeah, if I think it makes things spicy, but then also can make things pretty nasty given a certain group combination. So which is kind of why it make your party construction to minimize the any sort of slowdown for just progressing is kind of important.
Yeah, I have to say that your Oops All Valhalla scenario, or as our restreamer Beauty and Discovery saying in chat, Oops All Gauntlet seed. I think I would be treating that with a oops, there's the forfeit button.
I mean, I could say it could be worse, but I mean, if we can clone Z, make him appear in all the other places, mini Z's all over, that would be actual chaos, I would think.
Yeah, but that'll ruin everybody's Z fight spiel about not being able to randomize them.
Someday, maybe in the fork, but right for now, I would be. I'm just happy. I mean, you have people having trackers to count down to the bosses they fought. Well, nope, not useful. That feature, not the seed.
So, Jabron going to do that pan bonk. Did get the Baron key and the hook from those 2 checks in the Tower of Babel. Hook is very nice. Going to be able to turn around and cash that in and then the rat tail in for another key item. That puts him at 4, 7, 12 key items if I'm counting correctly. So very close to that 15 key item objective. However, we are still looking for that Luca key.
Yeah. I mean, no warp glitch available. So, but you're still gonna pick up the most likely gonna be key item at the spot anyway. So, if you're probably on your last key item and you do have the Luca key, which both of runners do not have, but like if you had the opportunity to do it, maybe do the cave last, and hope that the last item is your key item to not have to fight the boss on the way out. So might be a thing to do. That probably might not work out because key items and chains are what they are. So you might not work out favorably that way, but can always be something to put in the back of your mind if the opportunity comes.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, to complete the sealed cave isn't just grabbing the item. That means you have to beat the boss to claim it on the way out, correct?
That is correct. That's you know what? You are right. I forgot about that. Yes, okay. You do actually have to do that. Yes, yep. It's usually 2-part. You have to get the key item to order to trigger the boss tile to be able to be activated, which is what happens when you're walking your way out, anyways.
So
you have the fight boss. Well, you can do that if you have you have all the key item. The 15th, you already have your 15th, so you just have to activate.
That would work. You still have to fight.
You have
to fight on the way out, but yeah.
Well, that's
that is kind of the biggest threat here in this flag set because again, Edge normally very fast anchor. That's a very fast spot, and certain bosses can be quite intimidating. So, fortunately, I think both these runners have a plan to mitigate some of the threats there. Fortunately, so. But there's still a lot of possibility for rudeness there.
I mean, technically, it is the most difficult spot of all the spots, just because of the nature of that, nature of that spot. Plus, the spot having massive amounts of magic, so the spell multiplier for whatever damaging spell can be really, really significant and not. Like even a fire 2 from like the Maga Sisters is can be devastating, especially with a lower level party. So it's kind of one of those things. Jay Brunner doing the Baron keys just only has to do the Kinazo spot. Does not have to do the Odin spot because the Odin spot is part of K summon, so not a place to find a key item.
And we have King Queen Eblana here. Already saw them at Kabul Castle, and their castle got burned down, destroyed. They're looking for a new place. They're house hunting. You know, maybe overstaying their welcome at these other castles. Gotta send them on their way.
But two bosses in a trench coat is not anything. It's three. You already have three with the dark imps, but two for the King Queen Evelyn, because that's just the way it is.
Making very short work of King Queen Evelyn, and meanwhile Shiru getting ready for her fight against the dolls here at the Dr. Luge spot in Lower Babel. We'll see what Jaybrun has, because as far as gating key items go, the only one that he doesn't have is that Luca key. Hasn't checked the Twin Harp yet, so there is a possibility for that key to be behind there. But we are definitely running out of key items yet. We only have the Sand Ruby, the Crystal, and the Luca key outstanding. So, 33.33% chance that it's Patered, and it is. Baron Key, our tracker Volgarand was correct in the chat. It is the answer.
That's go mode, so it's just a matter of walking down, killing the boss, and praying that that boss isn't completely murderous. But for reference, I think that there has been a community race previously that had like the classic couple combo, Cecil and Rosa, and that is usually that's enough to complete a seed with, and you give that you have three, you have probably a lot more variance and wiggle for that. So it's one of those. It's kind of why I like the idea. Just pick up Rosa and whatever your third character can be, and usually it's good. It should just be good enough. Edge is pretty strong. Will probably be your offensive juggernaut. Maybe for the most part, at least doing a lot of the work. So I mean, this is very doable with a Cecil Rosa combo. So this is not impossible. It's just you just need to kind of do it, and you'll see how not as difficult as it first sounds. It may take a few seeds before it becomes a little bit easier to manage.
Yeah, I mean that's one of the things that as they've added the max party size, I believe I think the first time I really dealt with a lot was the Adamant Cup being a max party of 4, and you go, I need my 4 characters and I need my anchor in the center. And, you kind of find out that you really don't need that. If you've got some strong characters that and just everybody's supporting, you can rely on 1 or 2 major sources of damage. And we'll see if those sources of damage on Jaybrun's side are enough to take out this Ogopoke. Oh, it's Ogopaga here at the sealed cave. This is fast.
Yes, that's part. Well, Spoon helps, but still need quite a bit more. I don't remember how much HP at the spot. At least maybe it's north of 30,000 or so. Also the back row glitch is not enabled in this flag set, so that unfortunately I'm not sure if a boomerang was picked up, but the edge is not going to be at full strength, and yeah. Besides widely, maybe need to rethink that. Probably do some healing first, because ready with no MP is Blargless, so you might as well fix that while we're here. And Rhea haven't found a better weapon than the Dwarf Axe, so that's a problem.
You know, both these runners finding some pretty decent gear, but doing very different approaches to looting. Jbrun really getting some amazing gear in the Fey March early on, where Shiru did find a curse ring in um, Damsian Castle proper, and that one check on the way up to activate the hook cutscene. No, Jbrun did not loot the treasury, from what I recall. So, yeah, this is a thing where Shiro needs to avoid the siren sound of the harp and go to Baron Castle, just like she's doing, thankfully. This will give her an opportunity, and it's gonna depend how many times Jbrun has to bounce up against this Ogopogo.
So the problem with this is that there's no really effective healing, and if you're doing the healing, you're hoping Rudy has Azure. I think Rudy has Azure. The
I
problem
think
is
you're
that
right.
you're trying to commit to doing full damage as much as possible, but casting Bahamut is also is a trigger for the boss to react. So that's kind of a that itself is a problem. So Kane probably just has to do healing duty. Haven't found any good weapons. I mean, I think Shiro has a Gungnir at least, and that's good enough for Kane for them. As Gungnir is 92 attack power, so that's 92% of whatever he's gonna do anyway. So it's better. So it's good. It's effective enough. But see, this is the kind of the punishment for going going this route. Jade Printer will probably rely a little bit of luck, but eventually the double big waves are coming, and that's gonna cause a wipe. So keeping Edge healthy probably needed to do a little bit more shopping. Just hope for cure 3 potions that would at least get solve some of this. So probably might be able to solve it. No, there it is.
Yeah, no, trying to run buffer there, trying to slow down and delay those actions by Ogopogo to get the cures off, but just not enough, and is going to head on out here and following your advice. I think going and looking for some shopping. I think you're right. Those cure 3s are going to be the key if they're available.
Yeah, one thing about a flag set like this, you still need a shop for items to make up for what you don't have. Like if you're not gonna get a white mage, you need to get Bacchus wine, maybe some illusions. Those things become a lot more valuable as you just when you're putting together this party. You have to shop for it. But I think just Jay Printer thinking if do the forge turn in to make Edge a lot more powerful, which definitely will happen. I think that and the shop, the forge shop, is probably the best opportunity to shop, because unlike any other shop, it is 2 tiers higher than the standard shop on the overworld. Like a gated shop, like Cave Evelyn, any underground shop is a tier higher, but the cockle shop, the forger shop, that is 2 tiers higher, and tier 6 equipment, whether it's weapon, armor, or an item, far more value. Maybe not the item as much, but definitely the weapon armor. You can get a power shirt or a Murazame or Zeus gloves. Those usually are usually pretty power changing for your characters, at least up to this point. So that shop, if you can get access to it, very valuable.
Yeah, no, Jabron, I think bought a pair of Zeus gauntlets. I would have also considered a white spear as a dart, because I think that's gonna likely be your fastest source of damage. A couple of darts, and maybe a Bahamut to finish it off. Jabron, I think going back up to the Tower of Wishes to get a fresh anchor, and getting caught by the Darkness Crystal cutscene. So Shiru is now making her way down to this Ogopogo fight. We've already had one rude Ogopogo come up and make a difference in this flag set, and the second one is making an even bigger one. Shiru getting her 15 key items after Jbrun did, But now in a situation where if she's got the setup, that cursed ring, the healer, could be a case where she comes from behind and finishes ahead of Jabron.
Interesting decision. We have so when I mean, this is not new when you have character swapping enabled, but it's usually a common thing available. Have maybe late swapping an anchor because you just decide, hey, my team's going too fast. I need I need a reliable anchor, whether it's Tell or Sid. Sid probably is. I'm thinking Tella's a little bit better because Sid's HP probably doesn't will last him a few hits, but maybe Tella is just one hit away from taking a nap. So maybe I guess we need a anchor that will live a little bit longer than that. So I get so, but yeah, probably one didn't Kane isn't too slow and didn't find a weapon like I can't say that I like the idea of a white spear to be a dark. I mean, when you're trying to be economical, you want to buy drain spears because all tossing things all requires is what's the base attack power of the weapon you're throwing, and the white spears are not that much stronger. It's sure, it's attack power is increased, but the price per tossed item is not so great.
Yeah, no, but when you're there, when you've been right at the finish line and got bounced back by that Ogopogo, you're not gonna want to spend too much time shopping. I would just take what I had available and go from there. We do see Shiro here getting the Zerk up on edge. I think tossed a Gungnir Spear and that initial spoon, so getting a lot of damage here. I think with these Cure 2s, that might just be enough. And yeah, no, there it is. Shiro has taken down Ogopogo and will be getting through this here. There it is, goal reached. Congratulations to Shiro. Get your GGs in chat for her. You win just like that.
GG's to that. I'm kind of surprised, but then yet again not. Jay Printer done a lot more races, but has just kind of had got the loot, got the summon, but didn't quite have the correct party set up to take on in the first go, and that's at this stage of the race, it's a lot of time. You have to go all the way out, use warp, come back with the right answer. So it's one of those things where sometimes if you set up if you put together the party the right way, don't have to spend that much extra time doing all these other things just to get to finish up.
Yeah, we talked earlier about why this flag set has the vanilla agility flag, and it's really for situations like this, because if you had to rely on edge as your fast as an anchor, this fight would be very, 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 very difficult, even more so than we're already seeing these runners kind of fight through here, because you would not be able to get too many turns in, and these big waves just keep coming and coming. And unfortunately, another reset for Jabron there. And but yeah, no, this is exactly it. Shiro finding that curse ring, being in a little bit better situation on the first go, and that healer as well, being able to keep the party upright. And yeah, no, the party choices did matter there. Sacrificed some of the early power that Jabron hadn't enjoyed, but was ready to go. Was ready for that final fight.
Looks like our winner, at least for on the restream, is not to come for an interview, which is okay. That's all right. However, we still have other people racing. I think there's I don't know have the exact count of how many else are racing, but there are runners not on restream racing on this flag set. So.
Yeah, yeah, and Beauty and Discovery in chat pointing out that Flurry did finish first off stream, so GG's the Flurry there. Another veteran runner, um, doing a wonderful job with this seed. Um, so definitely GG's for them as well. And now it's Jbrun. I do like this adjustment here. We're putting Edge in the back row to make sure that those punches don't hurt as much, helping to compensate a little bit for that lack of healing. So the big waves still hurt. Big waves hurt. Not much you can do about it. It's a quarter of your HP every time. But yeah, definitely gonna help keep that damage down a little bit.
Yeah, but I think this is the race of time, and out of MP. That's one of those things. I was gonna say that Shiro probably. Yeah, I was concerned about Shiro not having good enough healing for the fight because you want to have Cure 3 available because that's good enough group healing. But yeah, Jay Prenter's having a time with that. Probably may need to rethink what the priority is for Edge. I think we could Sid's gonna be the anchor. That's fine. And I try to remember what the base power of Mutsuno. I feel like it's okay for a dart. It just seems like I feel like you almost need it as an emergency, emergency for emergency zerking, or at least fighting when you're out of darts. I think, but maybe it's just I guess like probably like a last ditch effort option. I guess it's because probably didn't having not shopped for more darting material was kind of hampering the effort, really.
Yeah, couple of things couple of things that Jbrun could do. One thing is taking the Murasame off, getting rid of the -5 agility, just to kind of help Edge go a little bit faster, maybe get another turn in here or there. Honestly, I think that one thing that you could consider in this spot if you were running this seed would be Rydia does have Asura, and you've got a 66 and 2/3% chance of that not spelling disaster for your party and getting a very powerful alt heal to everybody. I think that might be a better use of Rydia's MP rather than try to deal damage. I think you just kind of rely on Edge and trust him, potentially. And yeah, it looks like Jbrun making that adjustment as well, which I think that may be a big difference there. Assuming that we don't get the troll phase, then we get the light phase.
Hey, look, so once in a blue moon, you do want to have multi-target life. This is not the constructive party that would benefit from it. So, yeah.
Yeah, fortunately, Asura Summon does have a very short cast time, and there we go. There's the big heal right before the next wave. So that should go a long way in, having got another 4,000 or so damage on top of that spoon dart. I think Firebird Lover in chat pointing out earlier that's about 18,000 damage at this spot. So that Bahamut and these extra darts should be enough to tip over for Jbrun.
You're just hoping for the damage to add up. That's
just short.
Not quite. It's not quite. Well, and she's probably out of MP. Just help.
There it is.
That's good enough. There we go.
So the short sword dart was the right call. Just enough damage to get over the finish line and get your GGs in chat for Jbrun TR finishing here tonight. And yeah, that fight highlights some of the danger of this flag set. You get the power of Edge to go through and take care of things, but that required sealed cave spot, definitely a tricky fight with the wrong boss there.
Hey, oops, Ogo can be a go. That I'm, you know, there's one of those things where like you when you undervalue a character sometimes, like the cane, like, he could have used the cane if there was some had the weapon, but sometimes you kind of have to ditch him, just kind of get the situation fixed, and getting a proper anchor, and sometimes that is it, but that is time just to do that very thing. So
Yeah, no, Jabron, making some very good adjustments, changing up his approach, changing up changing up the anchoring situation, definitely, you know, doing the veteran thing, keeping a cool head, and reevaluating and not trying to just run headlong in things. And we are joined by Jbrun here in the booth here. Jbrun, GG's.
Thank you, thank you. That was a comedy of errors.
Yeah,
I'm a bit rusty.
and that can come into play sometimes. So obviously the big question is Ogopogo, second of the seed, waiting for you at that sealed cave. What what was your plan initially as far as your party setup? And you picked the cane and the Rydia. What was your approach going to be for that seed, and how did the our friendly neighborhood Nope Noodle mess that up?
Well, after my initial looting, finding the Bahamut orb, it was really just Rydia and then just a warm body. Just to kind of anchor things, sort of before things got really hairy. And Kane did that perfectly fine with the Dwarf Axe. When I was practicing these flags, my initial thoughts were just to eschew any mages, because waiting for the spells that they learn, there's just too much time to wait through. But Bahamut's kind of tough to pass up when you have access to it. So getting to Ogopogo, I knew it was going to be rough in the sealed cave, because that was not properly anchored, which is why I went back for the Cid, to get Rydia up to RA1. And then I was hoping with Edge throwing the spoon and hopefully able to hit a few times, the first time going in would have been enough, but the Ogo was just too fast, so had to bail out. Which, as you said, is the veteran thing to do, not just kind of just bang your head against it. But yeah, that's a terrible walk back down. I mean, I guess thankfully I had warp to get out the first time to make it not overly terrible, but yeah, just still terrible.
I mean, obviously, it made sense to just change the anchor because of the situation. Was there any thought of making Kane more of a viable option in the progress? Just maybe just find a good spear for him and then maybe make Rydia the anchor. Even though that might not be ideal, but just she's going to be the slowest character of your party anyways, and knowing that, just try to get a better Kane, just make Kane more viable, more of a useful character in the whole ordeal.
I mean, looking back on it, giving the bosses that came up, yeah, it would have been great to focus on somebody other than like just getting Edge to as powerful as he could be. And yeah, Rydia's slow. And I guess I don't know, that Bahamut just dragged me to getting her viable over getting Kane viable.
Oh, mind you, I would probably think the same way. I just have to think of what happens when she's out of MP. That's like, what is your backup plan when she can't blarg? That's the problem.
Yeah, that definitely plays into it. That's something I really didn't think about.
Yeah, that Bahamut did help get you through a lot of those checks very quickly. You were making very good time. It just, then the curveball came up, and yeah.
Yep. Never underestimate the Nope Noodle.
Never underestimate the Nope Noodle. No, that sealed cave spot is nasty, and Okopogo's got a script that just works very naturally for it, unfortunately.
Yeah, and the fast round too was throwing me off.
Yeah, I know that's a feature of this particular version of FE still in alpha, but that, like, I'm sure that screwed your attempt to use the run buffering. I think that's in your reference, right?
Yep. Yeah, definitely. So that's something to get used to going forward. But yeah, good time anyway, despite coming in last.
It happens. It happens. Yeah, some seeds are bad.
Yeah, it seems to be my MO. I'm either like first or last. It's just how it goes.
I do think that a somewhat wise man once said, "If you're not first, you're last." So it doesn't much matter. Correct?
Very true.
Any thought? Just one last question from me, I guess. Any thought to maybe slowing down the battle speed, so like, especially with Ogo being the boss, like maybe just slowing it down to make the fight not so chaotic, just by the nature of Ogo showing up.
Yeah, I went down to 5 at the end there, and I figure that would be enough, but I mean, it seems to be like the 4 is like the equivalent to what 3 was before the fast ROM, and so on down the line. So I probably could have dropped it to 6. It'd been a lot safer. But live and learn.
So I think that pretty much does it for both of our questions. Jabron, do you have anything else that you'd like to add? Any other thoughts you'd like to give about this flag set? Was a mad dash for the finish, getting all the items, and
yeah, it's always chaotic having such a fast seed. I knew it was going to be fast. It's just panic from the start, basically. But I mean, it's a good little flag set. I really enjoy it. But other than that, I just want to thank you guys for putting the restream on and the commentary. It looks like Fallgran is tracking, maybe, or is it Beauty? I don't know. Just look in the voice channel.
We got Fallgran is tracking, and Beauty is running the restream.
All right. Well, thank y'all. Catch you guys next time.
Yeah, thank you, Jabron, for joining us, and GG's.
Thanks again.
Well, Deathlike, that wraps up another Friday night community race here on Free Enterprise. while we're here, I'd like to say thank you to our tracker Volgran once again, and our restreamer Beauty Discovery, and of course you for joining me here in the booth. And if you liked what you saw and you'd like to learn more about this game, please feel free to join our Discord and learn more about it. Join community clubs such as what this used to be, or participate in these community races. A lot of good resources to learn and get better at the game.
Yeah, there's a lot of information. There's a wiki. There's we're all, you can ask questions on the Discord, of course. Because feel free to ask whether you're new, veteran. You know, there's a lot of things. There's a lot of things quirky, not quirky, things that, you know. These are some things that are features, quote features, and and the different kind of versions, like the common version that you find on the main website, the alpha. We can link you to that. Different and other these. Oh, there's a forks. There are forks of the randomizer, which have its own unique things that you can try out for your own entertainment. You know, there's a lot of things that you can find out, that you can learn and explore, at least regarding this game or the randomizer itself.
So that does it for us here. We are raiding into Garen in a couple seconds here, so thank you all for joining us, and good night, everybody.
See y'all next seed.